to be able to make profit, create employment, and some of them are buying diesel for 100,000 a month. So we need to look at infrastructure right now as impact investment, because it's part of what we go down to help these local businesses to thrive and to create jobs. So this is the time to look at both infrastructural development as impact investment and also other parts of the economy.
Okay, Henrietta, if we were to look at the fact that this year's the theme for World Economic Forum Africa is inclusive growth and job creation, where do you think captains of industry from across the world, especially from Africa, coming into Nigeria, where do you think they will be able to fit in and look at Nigeria's economy and the different things happening, the dynamics of it, and be able to say this is the area we want to go?
Well, there's several, and I think that Larry was spot on when she spoke about infrastructural development, because developing infrastructure catalyzes the entire economy from top to bottom, because everybody needs good roads to facilitate transportation. You need power for manufacturing, and I think our manufacturing industry has been stilted for a very long time because of that, and I think that's also why you find that we're still exporting raw materials rather than processed raw materials. The government is very, very inclined towards the agribusiness sector at the moment, and infrastructural development is one way we can actually catalyze growth in that area, because you have a lot of smallholder farmers who don't have access to markets, and we have a lot of investors coming in to do railways, to invest in power, to build roads, and housing is also a big issue. So definitely Nigeria is very attractive, well, I would say the whole of Africa, but Nigeria in particular, which is a very, very enterprising nation, is very attractive when it comes to those investments, especially as the markets in Europe and America are quite mature right now, and they're looking for new business. We have the population, we have the need, and it's a huge opportunity because, as Sam said, there's a growing middle class, and so you do have people who have economic power to purchase. So, yeah.
Just to add a bit to that, because I think it's a really good question, and one of the things that we have tried to push within our organization is to create, is to look at, investors as they come into the market, as they come into Africa, into Nigeria, is to help change the mindset with respect to how they look at investing. So going beyond they actually bringing dollars, it's the philosophy behind the way they invest. And that's, it boils down to the concept that, my chairman, Mr. Elummelu, has always talked about, which is this concept of Afro-capitalism. And the fundamental principles of it is that, one, when you're looking at investing in Africa, you have to think long term. Short-termism does not, cannot help the continent to grow and will not create the kind of lasting impact that we're looking for. So you have to come with this mindset of, I'm investing in this market from a long-term perspective. Two is, you have to invest with the intention of creating both economic return and social impact, which is, because we look at Africa, Africa has been faced with problems over the years, and we've tried to solve these problems using, all aid or, grants or some kind of non-profit mechanisms. And so, but those problems have turned back to hurt businesses and also hurt the way the economy itself has grown. That's why you're having this inclusiveness. But if you are investing with a mindset of every dollar I invest in this market will make me some money, but at the same time I invest with the intent of creating social impact, then you have a scenario where you are creating inclusive growth and expanding, the wider populace to benefit from that dollar that you're investing in the market.
Okay. Let's look at the other part of the theme, creating jobs. Yes. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so for me, my firm, Holistic Business Solutions, we do recruitment, and we help small businesses recruit best talent for themselves. Now, one of the key things for creating jobs that I say, for us to get the maximum impact, we need to look at small and medium enterprises, because there's only so much the banks, telecoms, and all of those sectors can do in terms of job creation. If we're able to support 5 million SMEs, and 5 million SMEs employ 5 people, then we can create jobs. So for creating jobs, I believe we need to create an enabling environment for small and medium businesses to thrive, for them to even start and grow and thrive. Because we look at World Bank doing business in Nigeria, we see how long it takes to start a business, what you need to do to grow, and as you're growing, you need to take people on, and that is the process of creating jobs.
Going round in circles here because many small businesses are exactly what you have called them, small businesses.
Yes.
And there's no way they can afford to buy diesel of 100,000 naira, which you spoke about.
Well, like we said, Nigeria is a land of opportunities. Now, what I say is, for a small business to grow, you need to identify your market, and you need to be able to work, develop a business model that can work in the environment that you're in. You don't have to say, oh yes, this happens to everybody. You need to look at how you can actually thrive. And sometimes I tell people, it's not just about, I want to start a fashion business. You need to, because I'm creative, for instance, you need to look at it from the business angle, from the economic angle, as opposed to I'm a creative person, I just want to design clothes. So you need to look at it, if I take on 2 people on board, how does that impact my bottom line? If I factor in this 100,000 naira diesel cost, how does that impact my bottom line? So how
business?
No, not really. But the truth is, it's not everything within our economy that we can do ourselves now until we get infrastructure right. So I tell people, for all that care to listen, I tell them, for instance, fashion business is not to be done in Nigeria. Fashion production. Until we get power right, because if you look at the cash flows, you can't factor in 250,000 naira diesel into the cost of a garment. It's not possible. So you can stay creative, create your designs, and bring it from somewhere else. Against what we're saying, but until we start working on power sector, on getting our products to the retail end, these things will still come out more expensive than anywhere else.
As we wrap up now, Henrietta, we will need to wrap up very quickly now. Let me say this will be my final question to you. And the question will be, people do often say that we talk down Nigeria, and for that reason it's difficult for those who are coming from abroad to be interested in what we have or want to do. What can we do as we're expecting world leaders and business leaders across the world to make sure that they come and they have that positive vibe?
Great. I think seeing is believing. And so I don't think it's also a question of talking down Nigeria. It's what they're seeing Nigerians do. And so I think that we can convince them to think better of Nigeria by putting on a good show. So for example, by getting the accommodation and the logistics of the conference right.
The organization is
absolutely. Okay. And also by showcasing loads of other business opportunities in Nigeria. And the funny thing is, in spite of the challenges you mentioned, Larry, people are making good money even in the fashion industry. And so yes, we have all these infrastructural challenges, but in spite of those, I think the market sort of outweighs those challenges. It would definitely be a better thing to see better roads and more constant supply of power. But Nigeria's market is so, the opportunities are so huge that you still are able to make it. I think that what we need are 2 things. First, entrepreneurial mindset. At the Lagos Business School, we have people who are programmed to get into the best jobs, and we have multinationals who come and snap them up. Even when they go through projects that help them see what they can do and they see for themselves, but it's always easier to get a cushy job in a multinational or some nice paying consulting firm. But what we're trying to do right now, because our mission is to develop leaders for Africa and the world at large, is to help them have this mindset of not only leading an organization, but creating an impact, a social impact, making the society different because they're there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That being said, I know that some foreigners come to Nigeria, and once they land, they say they can smell money. So that we must be doing something right. Thank you very much for coming, Henrietta Nwanze, Academic Director and Owner-Manager Program, Lagos Business School. Mr. Sam Nwanze, Director of Finance and Investment, Tony Elummelu Foundation, and Olanrewaju Oniyitan, Holistic Business Solutions and Mentor You Win Program. Thank you all very much for coming to share your insights with us this morning.
Thank you.
Sunrise will return momentarily with the home stretch, Kayode's favorite part of the program.
It's different today.